Hey, this is Eli Campbell. You know, Steamboat is renowned worldwide for skiing, biking, and all that our natural playground has to offer. We're fortunate, though, that the natural beauty here attracts more than just outdoor enthusiasts. From local legends to world-class acts, amazing musicians regularly play the venues in our little corner of Northwest Colorado. Join me as I explore the stories and experiences of these talented artists who bring unforgettable performances to Steamboat. This is your Steamboat Sound Check. Welcome to the Steamboat Sound Check podcast. Eli Campbell here with you, continuing our series highlighting musicians that are coming to WinterWonderGrass this year, February 28th through March 2nd. Really excited to be joined by Ben Morrison of the Brothers Comatose this morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Now, you guys hail from San Francisco, kind of city that's, long and storied history in the music industry. Immediately you think of like the Grateful Dead and Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin. Might not be immediately what I think of when I think of bluegrass music, but you certainly can't write the history of folk and rock without a few chapters on San Francisco. So, how has the Bay Area's music scene kind of influenced you as a band and helped shape your unique sound in the bluegrass world?
That's a great question. And we get it often because they're like, "Oh, you're from the Bay Area? Like, what the hell? How did you start playing this kind of music?" And I think we all have some different influences, but like you were saying, there's the music that is the lifeblood of the history of San Francisco and the Bay Area. And a lot of that is the Grateful Dead and Jefferson Airplane and Janis Joplin and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's that kind of stuff is everywhere. And I can speak to my brother who plays banjo in the band. He found a lot of inspiration in Jerry Garcia when he was because Jerry Garcia used to play banjo in Old and in the Way, that which is pretty bluegrassy. And so I think that kind of stuff like found its way into our music, and we were listening to like a lot of old classic rock back in the day, and they have a lot of old folk influences. Like Led Zeppelin is my favorite band of all time, and there's mandolins all over all those things and acoustic guitars and stuff, even though they're rock and roll powerhouses. But so I think their influences, uh, once we dove into that kind of music and then started figuring out like, oh, what were these guys listening to back in the day? And that kind of stuff worked its way into our music, and here we are.
Yeah, and
All
you
these,
mentioned Led Zeppelin, when you guys first started out, that's kind of the music you were playing. You were playing your own unique takes on Zeppelin or the Stones, CCR.
yeah.
And now, just recently you released a song These Days, collaboration with AJ Lee and Blue Summit that was kind of originally written by Jackson Browne back in the 1960s. You've long had this history of paying tribute to the musicians that came before you. Why is that important to you to keep doing that and covering these songs that are still such a part of musical history?
I think that's it. I mean, uh, first and foremost, it's just music that we love, and we get together with our friends and play songs, and then, oh, let's record this or whatever. But yeah, like though these days is a masterpiece. And Jackson Browne wrote that when he was like 16 or 17 years old. And um, so I think for us, like just trying to go and learn all these old tunes and try to figure out like, oh, how did they do this? This is incredible. Like why is it as good as it is? Who knows? Like, and then we, throw our own little spin on it or whatever, put some harmonies in there and try to make it our own a little bit, I mean, obviously try to maintain the original as much as we can, but add a little bit of our sauce on it or something like that. So yeah, man, it's like paying tribute and also just trying to learn at the same time
Yeah, and
is
it
a big
goes
part of
back
it.
to kind of the eclectic music history of where you came up, what you grew up with, listening to, Zeppelin. I'm sure the music that your parents were listening to and inspired by the Bay
Yeah.
Area and everything of that nature. and now you're finding your own sound. But you guys have also done a really cool project back in 2018, the America Music Abroad project, where you went to Asia and kind of shared music with different cultures and learned from them. How much did that influence kind of your sound moving forward after that?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. That was such a culture shock for us. We did a tour in China as part of that program, American Music Abroad. And it was, part of that program is you go into all these different areas from big cities to little mountain towns or villages or whatever, and you play your music. And then oftentimes they have their local musicians like play something for you, and then you collaborate on something, which is some of the coolest stuff I've ever done in my life musically. And it's really cool to see because you end up discovering, the folk traditions of all these different countries that you go and visit. And we got to see and learn these songs from China that are thousands of years old and play with these musicians that play these really cool instruments. And you're like, that's kind of like a Chinese fiddle or something like that. We played with this um, woman who played Erhu, which is it's basically like a gourd-esque or gourd fiddle sort of thing with two strings, and it's bowed and there's no frets, and you just kind of like play the strings and like yeah, that's I could see where that was carried over into this instrument, that like moved across these continents or these countries or whatever and developed in these different ways and it's really awesome. And it's kind of led to us collaborating with these different musicians. We play with this woman, Jay Bing Chen, who's an Erhu player that lives kind of back and forth between San Francisco and China. And now we're planning another tour of China because we've collaborated with her a bunch and um, shared music, and she'll play on our tunes and we'll play on her tunes, and it's really fun.
And I mean, it speaks to the international language of music. I mean, just the energy that comes from music. How much did that help your appreciation? You go to these festivals and everything feels like a community, everyone's having a great time. But when you just see that you can come together with people that maybe don't speak the language that you speak, they're playing instruments that are similar but have thousand-year-old history. How much did that just make you appreciate kind of what you do as a musician?
It's amazing, and it kind of it helps you realize that melody transcends everything, really. Like languages and all sorts of barriers, because no matter what language you speak, you can like hum a melody and like, oh, be like, oh, let's play that song. Yeah, I've had experiences with a lot of people that don't speak any English at all, and I don't speak any very, very little Chinese or whatever. And it's just really cool to be able to communicate in that way when you're not even able to say something to that person in their language or they're not able to speak your language. It's pretty awesome.
Well, of course, you're going to be bringing that energy of music to WinterWonderGrass here in just about a month. One of the new additions that you're bringing with the band is Addie Levy, who you just introduced into the band a couple of months ago. Completely new dynamic for you guys. What has she added musically and just kind of as a personality to your band in these first couple months?
Oh, it's great, man. She is such a cool addition. She's, first of all, it's awesome to have a female in the band. She's, there's a lot of dude energy going on, and we're like, oh, it's so great to infuse that with some female energy, and she's such a good hang and player and singer too. And it's like, one of my favorite things to do is harmonize, vocal harmonies and stuff. And it's really, and I have a pretty low voice, and my brother, who's just, another singer of the band, also has a low voice, and it's like it's really cool to have that female high harmony to like really round things out. Um, so yeah, it's been really fun. We've kind of she's filled in on some stuff for about a year and a half now, here and there. And when she joined full on last fall, we were just stoked to see where that could take us.
Yeah, and I've had the opportunity actually to talk to musicians that are the musician entering a band that's a well-established band with a long history and expectations from fans. I don't know if I've ever had the opportunity to kind of reverse it and talk to a founding member of a band about that process and what it's like. Now, this isn't the first time you've had a lineup change, but this one, like you said, it adds a different feel with the female vocalist and harmonies. And what has this experience taught you kind of about growth and collaboration, and how do you balance allowing her to keep her individualistic stylings and creativity while maintaining the core identity of who the Brothers Comatose are?
That's a great question. I mean, we we've been a band for a long time. I think we're like 16, 17 years in at this point, as a band. And we've had a few different members over the years. And so, we've written a lot of songs along the way. So like that, the core is there and has always been there. But kind of like what we were talking about with collaboration with different musicians and different cultures and stuff, it's exciting to like have a new flavor in there, like personality wise, playing wise, all that kind of stuff. It just makes, when you play the same songs over and over and over again, like it's always fun, don't get me wrong, but like, you can just kind of like you end up just doing the same thing, and to have a different flavor, musical flavor in there, different harmony, just a different tonal quality and different playing. It's like it reinvigorates things a little bit, It's
Yeah.
like a new relationship kind of, It's you just like things are sweet right now. It's cool.
That's very cool. It's a unique element and kind of an interesting way to talk about it. The new relationship. You guys are kind of still in that early period, but it
The
should be a
honeymoon
lot of
phase,
fun to
right?
see that energy at WinterWonderGrass. Now, going back, we talked to you just did this collaboration with AJ Lee. She's no stranger to WinterWonderGrass. The festival is known for kind of the collaborative and community aspect, the family aspect. I know I kind of was looking at it. You guys, I think, are coming into Colorado on the 28th. You're playing down in Boulder. On the 2nd, you're playing in Frisco. So, math was never a strong suit of mine, but matter of deduction, it sounds like you're only going to be here for that one day, maybe the first, March 1st. But are you going to really kind of be able to kind of see some of that festival collaboration and be part of all of that?
I mean, I sure hope so. I think we usually do. We played Winter Wondergrass a bunch of times, and we tend to know a handful of the bands on the bill, and so any opportunity to get people up to collaborate on anything is always awesome. It's funny because we played Winter Wondergrass Tahoe a few years ago, and I lost my voice. Like we played a super rowdy. I was sick, and then we played a rowdy like late night show, and then we had our main stage set the next day, and I had lost my voice, and I was just like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this!" And so we were scrambling, and we had all sorts of people up. We're like, okay, let's get Lindsay Lou. Let's get all these awesome people. Let's get Celia from Della May to come sing some songs. And we just like cobbled together this thing last minute. And fortunately, my voice mostly sort of came back, but we still like were able to do a bunch of these tunes. Like Lindsay Lou, we've known for years and years and years, and we've done a bunch of different songs together, so we know a ton of songs. And so we were able to like, oh, let's do this one, let's do this one, let's do this one, Celia, let's do this one, and it was really cool. And so I feel like even though we only have the day at Winter Wondergrass this year, we're doing the a daytime set, and then we're doing the late night that night. So I think there's going to be lots of opportunity to try to pull people in and help us out with a couple songs here and there.
Yeah, for sure. And you guys are known for kind of that rowdy atmosphere on stage. Is there a difference when you're doing something like that where you're playing a daytime set at the festival grounds to the late night set kind of more in the bar setting? Do you have any sort of different approach that you bring to it, or is there kind of a different excitement level about each of those? I mean, they're both going to be fun, but what's unique about both those sets?
Yeah, that is funny to think about because I haven't really thought about that before. But I guess like, the outdoor set is I think no matter what, like playing in the daytime and then playing at nighttime, there's just different stuff going on. Usually the inebriation level of everybody involved, band and audience, as you go on through the night, um, is it changes. So like, that I think you get looser as the night goes on, no matter what. And because I mean, we really I think any band and but we really like feed off of the crowd and the energy and like the back and forth and like the crowd involvement and like a lot of times we'll invite crowd members up to sing a song with us and that makes it exciting, because you never know what's going to happen. Or do they know the words? Can they sing? Can they not? Who knows? Like, and it's makes it really fun for us. And I think there will be no matter what, like some of that during the day. But as the night goes on, it just kind of gets looser. And I think like the late night set is where the extra magic might end up happening. So
Very
we'll see.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, Ben Morrison, the Brothers Comatose going to be playing WinterWonderGrass. The festival, February 28th through March 2nd. You can get tickets at winterwondergrass.com. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me this morning, and
my
looking forward to
pleasure.
having you out here in Colorado soon.
Thanks for having me. Can't wait.